I'm the Scrub and you're here for one reason. La Habrea, I know that you want to keep things in the family business, but will you calm down, you f***ing child? Apparently quelling the threat inside the facility will show my strength and resolve. And exterminating a batch of demigods doesn't do that. I've been doing this for a living, making some sweet bank by the way, and you don't think I have the fortitude to subdue what's inside? I'll have it bowing at my feet before you finish breakfast. Time to learn about Abyssos, the Sixth Circle. Simplified. When you zone in, there will be a purple wall around the arena. Touching this wall will cause gravity to be 1,000 times greater than normal. Etheric Polyomenid will cause 4 spikes to be placed in the middle of the 4 quadrants around the arena. All of these spikes will cover 2 squares with an AoE. You'll just need to get into a safe square in order to dodge the attack. Getting hit by any of these AoEs will give you a Vuln stack. Hegemone will move into the middle of the room and cast Chorus Ixu. She will throw her hands out and perform a 90-degree conal AoE in the direction that her hands are pointing. The first cast will be to the left and right of the direction she's facing, and the second cast will be directly in front and behind her in the direction she's facing. She will then perform it a third time, but it will be random in which way she points. So every time she casts Chorus Ixu, just make sure that you are looking at which way her hands are pointing and dodge into the safe zone. Getting hit by any of these mechanics will give you a Vuln stack. Tanks, make sure that you point her as close to the north as possible to ensure that when Chorus Ixu starts casting, it's pointed to the cardinal directions and not twisted around. Hemethios' Dark 4 is a room-wide AoE. The boss will then tether to random players and cast Transmission. This will inflict the tethered players with a debuff called Glossomorph for 10 seconds. You will get a countdown from 5 over your head when it's about to go off. When this debuff ends, all of the affected players will freeze in place and perform a narrow conal AoE in the direction they are facing. Any player that is hit with this conal AoE will get a sustained damage dot tick for 15 seconds. The easiest way to not hit any other player is to point your AoE towards the wall as your debuff is about to expire. This way you won't be giving anyone else any debuffs. Synergy will put a circular AoE tank buster on both tanks, so the tanks will need to spread out and avoid overlapping these. This hit will also come with a 15-second bleeding debuff. As much as the tank might need it, please refrain from giving them a consoling hug until after the tank buster has gone off. There will be another cast of Etheric Polyomenid that will be accompanied with a Chorus Ixu, so make sure that you are in a safe zone away from both sets of AoEs to avoid the Vuln stacks. Hegemone will move into the middle of the room, face a random party member, and cast Strophe Ixu. It will get a set of spinning arrows around it to indicate which way it will be spinning. There will be 2 conal AoEs, one in front of the boss and one behind it, that will fire as the boss begins to rotate. You just need to constantly stay on the side of the boss as she rotates around the arena to avoid both AoEs. If you get hit by the blue AoE behind her, you'll get a 15-second unassumable bleeding debuff. And if you get hit by the green AoE in front of her, you'll be hit with a debuff of Glossomorph, but this one is different from the last. You'll only have this debuff for 5 seconds, and when the debuff ends, you will stand still and lose control of your character for 6 seconds, leaving you vulnerable to be hit by other AoEs. When Hegemone has done 1 full revolution, her attacks will stop. The next cast of Transmission will target all players and either give players a 10-second or 20-second debuff. Just before the 10-second debuffs are ready to expire, there will be another cast of Chorus Ixu, so avoid her conal AoEs and point your conal AoE towards the wall. And just before the 20-second debuffs are ready to expire, there will be a cast of Dark Ashes which will put point-blank AoEs on all players. So everyone just needs to spread out and avoid overlapping these AoEs while the affected players point their AoEs towards the wall. There will be a cast of Ethereal Exchange that will be directly before the cast of Polyomenid Sigma. This will tether 2 spikes together and cause them to swap just before the AoEs are about to go off. The trick to this one is that the AoEs will always swap places. So if you stand in an AoE, the spikes will be swapped and you'll no longer be standing in one. But later in the fight, you'll need to look out for which spikes will have all 4 squares around it covered by an AoE instead of just 2. So this means that you'll need to watch for where the safe zones will be moving to in order to dodge the Vuln stacks. From here, mechanics will begin to overlap and repeat until Hegemone has been defeated. Congratulations, you have completed the 6th circle. My name is the Scrub. Thank you for watching.